to episode 24. It Happened on the Job, our podcast for relatable conversations with contractors that are hopefully a little bit entertaining as well. With us in studio today, one of the few lately. I appreciate you coming out. We got Rod Maclean, one of the owners of Pacific Southern Sound Foundation and Zamborelli Enterprises. Did I get all that correctly?
You did get that right.
Perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in, Rod.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So I know we kind of went through a little bit of it kind of just off air, but give us a little history, kind of how you got started in the industry and your journey to where you are now as one of the owners.
Well, I started out 16 years old. My grandfather in this type of business. My dad was kind of this. He was quite the guy. He's quite the character. He's not here anymore, but he was quite the character. So he would come grab me, shorter worker on a job, instead of going to high school. Come to work for a day or two, right? You know, and it'd be like, geez, I would really rather be at school. You know? So I started out.
Did he pay you?
No.
You'd much rather been at school than
a
lot less manual labor.
He fed me though, so that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's how I got my start into it. Went off to try to go to university. That didn't work out too good because I'm a knucklehead. So we went into this field of work, and it's been pretty good. We traveled around. I'm from Canada originally. I don't know if I said that, but I'm from Canada originally, and started working in Calgary. Calgary dried up, moved to Toronto, took my wife with me. We had my son in Toronto. From there, we went to Hawaii, ran a big project called the H3 Highway in Hawaii. That was my first job being a superintendent.
I know the H3.
Yeah, the Kaneohe side where you come out the mountain.
Yeah.
I did all the drilling for that. That was 1989 through 91.
Yeah, that's when I remember that. I mean, I was a kid back then. I was probably 12, 13 years old, but we would go there all the time, especially on the Kaneohe side. I remember all that construction.
Yeah. So, I ran that project. I was pretty young then, 26 or 27.
He was even younger.
Yeah, he was way younger.
I was a little tiny. A little fart.
Yeah. Right? So then from there, we did a big project in Arkansas. From there, we took off and went to Malaysia, did a rapid transit project in Malaysia, a bunch of drilling. Got to cut my teeth on specialized stuff that they weren't doing in the United States, which was pretty good. So it was all experimental and kind of new stuff.
So cool.
Probably a little bit easier to do some experimental stuff without all the regulations.
There's no regulations there.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad, right?
Yeah. And then from there, we went over to Singapore, which was night and day from Kuala Lumpur. Singapore's a real clean city and everything. We did a job called Raffles Square, which is a big underground subway station with a high-rise on top. Did the first top-down construction job in Asia, I guess it was. It was the first one. You know, you put the foundation in, the walls in for your underground parking, everything like that. And as they build up, they dig down at the same time through the elevator shafts. And so the building's complete. They pour slab in the bottom when it gets done. So, and then they brought a train through there. Actually, they brought tunnels through there after we were done. Yeah, so they mined through with the tunneling machine and, have a rapid transit station under this building. Yeah. So we never went below grade. We stayed right at the street level, did the whole job, and then we were gone. And from there, I went to Malcolm Drilling, where I met my partners that I'm currently with right now. Don Zamborelli was one of the presidents of the company, and he took off to start his own. Took my current partner now, Dave Heaney, and his stepdad. They were both general superintendents at Malcolm, which that's what I was. They started Zamborelli Enterprises in 2002. Since then, Ron's retired. That's Dave's stepdad. Don's retired. We bought those guys out, and we now currently 4 of us own the company. So.
Very cool. Is your work more on the infrastructure side, local government and that kind of stuff, or are you doing more private stuff?
When Don ran the company, we did more private stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no money in private stuff.
Really?
No.
See, I thought it'd be the other way around because isn't it? I mean, obviously we sit on this side of it, right? But the way I understand, doesn't a lot of the infrastructure just kind of like the government work, like, hey, lowest bidder out there, like get the job?
Yes and no. When you get into doing private stuff, like I'm talking custom homes, foundations for custom homes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking now. We do, we put ourselves in a niche where we're bigger than the small guy, small than a big guy. So like Malcolm Drilling, when I worked there, they used to do projects in the $1 million range and higher.
Right.
Right now we do $1 million and lower. But we have very little overhead.
Yeah.
I mean, us guys all work, So my partner Dave, myself,
So
my other partner Eddie, we're in the field.
Yeah.
And then we have Dan Luong, who came right to work with us out of college. He runs our office. Yeah. And my wife's in there. My wife's in there, pays all the bills, and my son's part of the company. Dave's son's part of the company. Were you pulling
him out of high school at 16 to come work for you?
No.
I
tried to keep. I tried to keep him out of it. Yeah.
That's funny.
So he's actually an operator now for us. He runs a drill.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
how many guys you guys have out in the field? What's this? What kind of scope?
Well, we're a union contractor, so it depends on how much work we have. But we probably have a core of about 50 guys that work with us. Wow. When it's busy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like currently right now, we've got 4 or 5 shoring jobs going on downtown LA. We just finished up a big project in Blythe. We got guys out in San Luis Obispo right now, so
is that about as far north as you guys like to go, or does it matter? Or staying in California, or
we try to predominantly stay in California and Southern California. Yeah, but we've done work up north. Yeah, so.
How's the workload right now with coronavirus being what it is? Are you guys able to? And we've heard the gamut. We've heard some people say, yeah, we're still going for full force, and then there's others that almost at a full stop.
Yeah, we've had when jobs are running, none of our jobs took any effect of the coronavirus.
Right.
I imagine infrastructure probably kind of. I mean,
it stays. The jobs our current backlog though, nothing's starting up right now. Everybody's kind of hanging, on hold,
Yeah.
And we've got a large project we're going to be doing by Dodger Stadium on the side of the freeway. They're putting in a bunch of condos, and that job was supposed to start in May. They pushed it off to July now.
Yeah.
But so far work's been going pretty good. We got a niche in the refineries. We do most of the drilling in Chevron. Our safety. We have this thing called INS Net. You guys are insurance guys. You guys maybe are familiar with it or not, but it's a thing they rate contractors by safety.
Right.
And you have to pay to belong to this service and everything like that.
Well, especially in that type of industry, or doing that type of work,
so we've got an A+ rating in the INS, so you don't have to be low number in that. So
that helps. Yeah,
they take safety before they take.
Makes sense.
Yeah, of course. So you're seeing kind of a slowdown in stuff getting started, but what about from the bidding process? Are you guys seeing
lots are out there bidding. Yeah, there's quite
stuff still moving on.
I think it's going to really. What's got me scared is everything's pushed off. Everything's going to want to go as usual
start up
at the same time, right? The day everything's going to go, it's going to be go. We don't have enough machines. Well, we got to start.
Figure it out. Right.
So
what's funny is we actually were just the person we were just talking to right before you. In our previous podcast was with CPM Logistics. I don't know. You probably actually work with them. Sounded like what you guys do.
Yeah.
So we just actually interviewed Abigail Brown, who's the president of CPM Logistics.
Okay.
Which is really funny. You guys
probably
all
it's funny.
Been on some projects together, I'm assuming.
Probably.
Yeah.
No correlation.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. So, kind of on a day-to-day stuff, it sounds like your office staff is pretty small, right? You just one guy and your wife.
No. We've got 2 estimators, plus Danny, who estimates, and takes care of the day-to-day business, and my wife's in there. She
Right.
pays the bills because our former office manager, she got ill and she had to leave for a little while. So my wife jumped in and kind of took over. She was a domestic goddess, you know. So.
So are a lot of those people, were they remote before, or have they moved to remote, kind of working remote, or how is it?
No, one of our estimators is working remote. Our other estimator, Tom, his wife has MS, and so kind of worried about her immune system. So,
Right.
So, but my wife goes in the office, Tom's in the office, and Danny are in the office. Our other estimator, John, he's working remote right now.
Finding a way to make it work.
Yeah, estimating.
Yeah,
really,
you're kind of out there anyway, right?
You call. A little different about our business is you have to interpret borings, right? Geotechnical stuff, right? You don't know what's in the ground, you know. So it's kind of like a forensic thing, This guy looks at it, interprets it, and then he passes it to me. I look at it. Okay, yeah. Based on we drilled there before, or close by, but it's ever changing. You drill a hole 20 feet away, it could be different.
Yeah.
And we do, predominantly 36-inch diameter holes for shoring. We drill up to 10-foot diameter. So our capabilities.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I don't see it being a problem with the coronavirus thing right now.
Right.
It's a different world, though. I don't know if it'll ever be the same.
That's what we talk about all the time. How it's forcing people to make changes that we're not sure they're gonna ever need to go back from or want to go back from. So it's
for some industries.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of bizarre. We're working at the Ram Stadium. We're doing a shoring pit outside the Ram Stadium, and they shoot your head for temperature, before they even let you in the site.
Some of them have full body scanners. You got to walk through.
Really?
Yeah, and they're checking your temperature and a bunch of other stuff when you walk through them.
I was up last week with my son. He was drilling up behind the Hollywood sign. So they got Mulholland and all that's closed off to traffic and everything. You can't get up there, so you have to go in the other side of the Hollywood sign, which is coming off of the Ventura Freeway, right?
Uh-huh.
So you're coming up and you're driving up there, and there's nobody there. There's just us and 4 contractor guys, and we're fixing the road because the road slid out, and we're sitting there with masks on our face. It's 100 degrees, and you got this mask on your face, right? And you're looking like, why? And then nobody can hear anybody, right? Because you got a mask on your face. Right? Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I hear you. That's funny.
Yeah.
So, from an employee standpoint, and these guys are coming out of the union, are you seeing? Are they all pretty skilled
No.
Not that we want to sit here and badmouth the union or anything, but like, what are you seeing from a labor side?
From the labor side, I think the talented people are all working.
Right.
So your best bet is to build within.
Right.
That's what we're doing. So a lot of our employees are guys came in from family members. I've got one guy who's a foreman for me. He's got like 6 or 8 of his nephews that work with us, and we're developing them. And when we bring somebody in like that, say, okay, he's your responsibility, right?
Right.
Make it work. You're going to be the one that's going to tell them, this has to go. So by that sense, a lot of us work together. Most of our guys come from Malcolm Drilling, where we were. So it's kind of like we're kind of like a family, and we bring in family members and try to train guys. I.e., like my son, Dave's son.
They develop that level of trust first before you train them.
Because what we do is not, the safest things in the world.
Right. Yeah, you definitely gotta trust the guy when you're.
We had Eddie, my other partner, who's an operator, probably one of the best operators in the country. Had a rig turnover on him in Blythe here. Jeez. He was walking to a new location, and there was a bad piece of ground. So this machine had a 70-foot auger on it, 30-inch diameter. So picture the thing that drives the auger is 70 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And he's walking the machine across the site, and the back track sinks out of sight, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, at this point,
at that point
you're
it's
done,
gone. Yeah.
right? And the rig turns over. So.
Yeah.
And things like that can happen. We had a bunch of our guys were working on rebar cages. Right, the rig came down on the cages. To be quite honest with you. Yeah. So shook Eddie up, shook everybody up. But
was that just like a freak land thing that somebody didn't see?
Yeah, no,
it looked underneath.
It wasn't compacted. Or, but out in Blythe, we were working for SoCal Gas. It's a great big, just open lot, right? And we're putting all these foundations. Yeah, you don't know. It could have been an old well. It could have been whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Any fun stories to some crazy stuff you've dug up or dug through?
Yeah, we.
I think about it makes me, and this is probably gonna make you hate me for saying this, but I think about like the what is that movie with the astronauts with like drilling through the crap? They get to like some weird, we're like drilling through crap and they hit stuff that they can't drill through it, and I'm sure that's dumbing down your industry to something stupid. And you probably hate
Good job, Mike.
Yeah, right. But that's all I think. I mean, any crazy stuff that you guys have had to go through, or like?
Oh yeah. Well, one we did the Thomas. With Jefferson Library in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Downtown San Diego.
Yeah.
So we did the job across the street, which I can't remember what it was, but anyways, we put tiebacks in for underground parking and dropped the lot. Well, when they dug down the library, we did that job as well. We put the shoring in. Where they're digging down, we see our old tieback there. And we drilled through a woolly mammoth tusk, right through the center of it.
No kidding.
Yeah. I mean, you can Google that or something like that, but you'll see the tusk that they found there. And, of course, that shuts the job down for, ever. So they found this woolly mammoth, and underneath it a whale.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting, yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
I'm sure you guys that's probably not an uncommon thing in your industry, whether or not it's for you. I'm sure that's...
No, you find, we did a job at the SkyDome where the Blue Jays play.
Right.
I worked on that project, and that's how old I am. And we were doing similar thing. We were doing an underground structure. We were supporting it with shoring, and we found muskets, like from 1812, the French Indian War type area, because Lake Ontario at the time came in further than where it was because they reclaimed land there, right? So they're pushing out dirt and making the city bigger. So at that point, it was Lake Ontario, and where they're putting the SkyDome, all of a sudden, you find, something like that. And they found cannonballs, they found all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, stuff you get to take home?
No.
That's unfortunate. That's a bummer, man.
Government.
Yeah, right.
That's all government.
You never get to keep any
Going
of that
into
stuff.
the museums, right? That'd be fun, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So what are some of the kind of the biggest projects that you're like most proud of, or like some of the things?
Some of the things I've done. Well, we did all those caissons for City Center back in Vegas when I was with Malcolm, which was a fast track project, and at that time we did the first underground parking in Vegas as well, which was at the Palazzo, which was an 11-acre big hole we put in right next to the Strip. And so Vegas, when it was booming, was something else. Yeah. So
I was working for my dad's company at the time, which was based out in Vegas. I remember when the City Center was going up, you guys were working on that. Remember the Palazzo?
Yeah. So, and Encore did that. I did an interesting project for Tudor Perini. I don't know if you know who Tudor Perini is. They're a big construction company.
Okay.
I went on for a couple years to help a friend out while we were still at Zamborelli, and went and helped him out because Tudor bought a drilling company, and we went and did a job in downtown Manhattan, which was pretty cool. They took the existing train yard, kept it open, and we're putting a building on top of it, with the train yard staying open. So
still working and operating?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did an Amtrak tunnel and set up to do all the caissons to hold the building up there. At the same time, we were doing the receiving pit for the Big Bertha mining machine that was up in Seattle that got stuck. I don't know if you guys ever heard that story. Well, they had this big mining machine, and it got stuck. It broke down.
I'm
underneath.
thinking
It
like
was the
Ocean's
world-
12 when
Yeah.
they're trying to go underneath.
Yeah, it's like, this Big Bertha, it's called, was the largest tunnel boring machine
Right,
at the
yeah.
time, 56 feet diameter. And
What
we
did
were
it get
doing their
stuck on?
It actually didn't get stuck. Everybody said it got stuck. It had a bearing go out on it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it stopped.
Yeah.
So then they had to go down and I didn't, we were going to go do it, but we didn't. But they put a pit around it, dug down, put shoring around it, went down, took the thing apart, put it back together, and then started
That's cool.
tunneling again. so those are kind of some of the interesting projects. And the job I did in Malaysia was huge. It was $128 million
Wow.
of just caisson work.
Jeez.
So we had
a lot, yeah,
machines all over the place.
Yeah. You guys own a lot of the equipment that you guys work on, or?
Yeah. And we're kind of hands-on. We do our own mechanicking. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we've done pretty good. I mean, Zamborelli Enterprises, from where it started to where we are now, Don, who is the majority owner, used to like to build everything. So we build stuff. Yeah. And when you build stuff, you do a lot of wrenching.
Where do you kind of see the future of you guys' business going? Where, as far as, I mean, I know you said you're not the biggest, but you're not the smallest. I mean, are you kind of comfortable where you're at, or?
Yeah, I think we're pretty comfortable where we're
Yeah.
at. We still go out and do some consulting work on some bigger projects.
Yeah.
People will call us in. But I see us being, somewhere around $20-30 million a year company is
Yeah, that's
about
pretty
all we want to be.
respectable, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you got to get really big. And,
Yeah, it runs
Right.
out. You get out of control.
yeah, you get out of control. It's better to stay where we can keep our pulse on it, and I think market-wise, I've always figured it out. If you could do $1 million a month, you'll make some money. Yeah,
Not a bad deal.
if you can do
Yeah.
$1 million a month, we can make some money. Because the foundation business as a whole, because of the risk, because you don't know what you're up against. Our margins are 17 to 20%. Yeah, is what we
That's
tack
awesome.
on jobs.
Yeah.
But
Well, just because, like you said, I mean, you run into something and you could be huge delays, or
or you have
New equipment or
go in there and
breakdown
say, hey, well, you cover yourself, with
yeah,
water, boulders, whatever. But
Right.
then the other side's always got themselves set up where they put language in there that you might find a boulder. Well, then you look at the soils report.